So in this video, we're going to look at creating the apple catcher game. So first thing I'm going to do is delete my sprite, and I'm going to make a basket that goes side to side. So I need to make a new sprite. Sorry, I don't want an outline on that. Now you can use your imagination here and you can make it better than mine. What I'm going to do then is just get rid of that top half. Okay, so there's my basket. And what I'll do is I'm just going to group these together so that it is one item. Highlight it, and then up here to group. And that now becomes one thing. Make sure there's nothing else on the screen. You can always test that by just drawing a little box. Make sure the box doesn't touch and there's nothing there. If, for example, I had put a dot here by accident and not noticed, the way that I'll know is that when I see my picture, it's not in the center. And then I just grab this, draw a box. There's the error. Delete it, and you'll see this is suddenly full screen there. Right, let's get this coded then. So you've done this code before. When the green flag is clicked, we're going to do this bit forever. If we press left, so we're going to go on here. Sensing, if key left is pressed, we're going to get it to move to the left. So we know that that is changing the x-axis. So it's going to be change x. And obviously it has to be -10 because we're going to the left. And then I'm going to duplicate that if statement. And this time it's going to be if the right arrow is pressed, change it by 10. Let's name this basket B-A-S-K-E-T. I'm going to move it down here because it belongs at the bottom of the screen. Left and right, it's moving. Now the basket at the moment is a little bit big. It'll make the game too easy. So I'm going to change this down to 60% of that size, and that'll make our game a little bit harder. And I can put it down here. The next thing we need is some apples. So I'm going to go down here, grab this, get my circle. I think I'll make myself some green apples. Select circle. I'm going to hold shift, draw my apple, get my paintbrush, and let's just give it a few leaves at the top. Okay, that looks a bit like an apple. Obviously it's way too big, so I'm going to go up here and make it 40% of its size, or maybe even just 30%. Yeah, that looks about reasonable. Now what we want this apple to do is we want it to go to the top of the screen, anywhere along here. Now if you think about the y-axis, which goes this way, it's going to be at this point on the y-axis. So what we do is place it kind of where we want it to start. And if we look here, the y is 182. So what we want to happen is when the green flag is clicked, we want it to go to y 182, but the x-axis, which obviously goes this way, we don't mind where it goes on the x-axis, anywhere from here. And if you look down here, that's -225, and the opposite would be 225. So we want it to go, again, this is a random one, which is something to do with sort of maths, so it's under the operators. We want it to go to -225, and it can go anywhere up to +225. And if I press stop and start, you will see that the apple goes to a different place. Now we want to happen is we want the apple to drop down to the bottom of the screen. So what we do is we're going to use the change y, because this is the y-axis. And we'll get it to go down by 10 steps. So what we want to do is we want to repeat that over and over again. Now, if you look here, that y position, that y position would say it's 180. So what that'll be is it'll take 180 steps to get to the middle, and then another 180 steps to get to this, because this is to the 0 point. So 180 plus 180 is 360. So if we're going to go 10 steps each time, we need to repeat that 36 times. So I'm going to repeat 36. So if you think about it, it's going to repeat 36 times down 10 steps. So 36 times 10 gives you your 360, which is there to there. So if you look at that, and we need to do what we want to happen here, sorry, I'm going to pull this down for a second, is we want the apple to go to this point. We want it to hide at the beginning of the game. We want it to hide, we want it to go to that place. We want it to show. And then repeat 36 times. Oops. And we're going to get it to do this forever. Something's not quite right on that. Change wipe. Oh, sorry guys, this of course is going down, so it has to be -10. And now the apple is dropping to the bottom of the screen. So that was change wipe by -10. Right, now what we need to happen is if it touches the basket, it's going to hide. So I'll do this on its own loop again. So events, when the green flag is clicked, if touching. So we need an if. Touching is under sensing, so if touching, basket, we want it to hide. Now, really, we should also have a score. So we need a variable. Make a variable. Caught. And once it's hidden, we can then change the apples caught. And of course, we need to do this forever. There are 2 bits of code, so stop, press play. Oh, I seem to be coming in a similar place all the time. Now, obviously what we need to make it a little bit more difficult is we need a few more apples. So right click and duplicate. Stop the game, start it again. Right, so we have a problem. The apples are just coming at the same time every time. So what we're going to do, I'm going to delete those ones and I'm just going to write on one piece of code. So what we want to happen is we're going to get a wait, and we've done this before. So we need a wait. So we want it to hide. We want it to wait. And I'm going to do again a random amount of time. So pick random. Let's do it between 1/4 second, 0.25, and let's wait 2 seconds. And then I can right click, duplicate, stop, start. And now they come at different, oops, I missed one there. They come at different times. Now, I'm sure you're all looking at the score and thinking, oh, okay, you've made a mistake there. We could improve that. It needs to go back to 0 at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to go, I only want it to set it to 0 once on one thing. So if the basket is only one basket, so it makes sense on the basket to go set apples caught to 0 at the beginning of the game. And then that's done. Now, obviously what you can do here is you can go ahead and you can add a background. So you can draw something on your stage. You could do it that you've got a timer that counts down from, let's say, 30 seconds and sees how many you can catch in 30 seconds. Another option is if it hits the ground. So you could do a nice little thin line down the bottom here like you did in Pong, and you can make it maybe green, and it says if it touches the grass, if you don't catch it, maybe you get a minus score. Or you could make a different color apple that maybe like a brown apple maybe that you don't want them to catch, and you could add that in. But they're the basics on how to create the apple catcher game.